is it possible to repeal the 19th? No, it's not. And take away rights? No, it's not. Why do you want to? I ask because Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, is that where he's from? Myron Gaines is from Fresh and Fit. Wow. Says shouldn't vote or have rights and are useless to society except for sex and except for sex. Very strange. Giuseppe De Fraia, it's you again, my friend, my Italian friend, Giuseppe. Do you think I don't know these things? I know who these people are. No, Giuseppe's been on the show. He's super chatted in on a few other occasions as well. Do I think, okay, would you like me to give you, he gave me $20. So, let's see. When it comes to repealing the 19th, if you won't, okay, go do it. How are you going to do it? Please show me what your plan is. It's easy to say, end the Fed. It's easy to say, smash the patriarchy. It's easy to say, crush the government. It's easy to say, repeal the 19th. Okay, what's your plan? Tell me how you're going to fucking do it, man. Tell me how it works. And then tell me what the world looks like after the revolution. Tell me how you plan to rebuild society afterwards. Tell me what do you think the net result will be if we take away the right to vote from women? How are you going to do it? And then if you could do it, what's your plan after the revolution? Everyone's an anarchist until the day after the government is overthrown, and then they don't know what the fuck to do. No one has a plan. And if you have a plan, you're a fascist. You're just as bad as the people you just overthrow, right? The proximate outcome is let's go raise hell and start a riot. The ultimate outcome is how are we going to rebuild society after all of this? And nobody wants to think of that shit because that ain't no fun. Fuck that. I don't think we should take away women's right to vote there because you're not going to. You know what I want? Here's what I would say. Don't repeal the 19th. First of all, it's impractical. It's stupid. It's untenable. You're never going to do it because you know who will fight you? Other men, not women. Women decide the fate of this country, period. All politics are gender politics. And it is a zero-sum game, no matter what a guy like Richard Reeves would love us to believe. The thing is like I get this. Like Richard Reeves he's got his outlook is this. Is like like I said, he's really good at defining the problems. He's really good at really good. He's basically analyzing and diagnosing problems that the red pill has diagnosed for a very long time. But the prescription. The prescription is his prescription is it's not a zero-sum game, or it shouldn't be a zero-sum game. Again, I'm not going to ever use the word should, because when I see pictures like this, let me see where I can go with this. I've used this before. I took this in I think I took this in San Francisco one time when I was doing like liquor promo. Okay. This was up on some sort of chalkboard thing that I forget where I was. I think it was at some promo or was at some on-premise thing I was doing. I said men and white people. Yes, that's what that little thing says up there. Need to be actively disadvantaged for equity to be achieved. And I hung on to this for a long time. I posted it a few times. I think I might have used it for a blog post occasionally too. But that sort of saying made me realize that a guy like Richard Reeves saying it shouldn't be a zero-sum game. Well, it shouldn't be in an ideal fucking world. But guess what? The reason why we're in the situation we're in right now with respect to this sort of the gender parity or this idea that there needs to be some sort of balance is it never was anything but a zero-sum game to militant feminists like Betty Friedan and Gloria Steinem during the late 60s and early 70s. The reason why we're where we're at right now, the reason why men are hurting, the reason why we have all this suddenly this crisis of masculinity and we want Justin Baldini to fucking solve it for us with a good fucking struggle session and a good cry is because it was a zero-sum game, and it still is. You have to give it. I will give 1 point to the feminists. They realized this early on. If you want to achieve quote unquote equity, like it's funny because like the problem, like the sickness, is described in the cure. So you got, for equity. Now, if you read this backwards, for equity to be achieved, men need to be actively disadvantaged. How is that? If you're looking for equity, and it's not a zero-sum game, then why would men need to be actively disadvantaged? Because when Richard Reeves says, well, we can do things for boys without affecting and without in any way sort of lessening or damaging or in any ways making, putting women at a disadvantage and still bring men up. No, we fucking can't, because the problems we face today were caused because feminists didn't play for equity. They played a zero-sum game because they knew from the beginning that that feminist utopia is a police state, right? The gender wars, the gender, divide, whatever we're calling it today, is the result of women presuming it was a zero-sum game. Ergo, men need to be actively disadvantaged for equity, not equality, equity to be achieved. So if that was the solution to empowering women during the late 70s, why would it not be the solution for men in 2024? Why would the game, oh, well, they didn't play fair then, but we're gonna solve everything by playing fair. No, you're fucking not. And that's why I keep saying it's not about, I don't care if women have the right to vote. You know what I care about? I care that women are held accountable for those fucking votes in the first place. Because up until now, we go, well, women can vote for whatever, they can do whatever they want, they can be whatever they want. And you know what? We give them a pass, and we give them fail safes, and we give them everything we can possibly give them to disavow or disqualify any consequences that might come from the choices and the decisions that they make. So what is a vote? It's a decision. When you vote for certain things, like Aaron Clary is like, he's a fucking mercenary about this shit, man. Whenever he sees a story about something, some shitstorm that's going on in San Francisco, or I don't know where he was from, like Minnesota, Michigan, whenever a female cop gets like bowled over and needs a male cop to take down a perp or something like that, whenever there's tent cities in Los Angeles, whenever you go and you see the homeless populations in California, in Washington, in Oregon, in Los Angeles, whenever you see those things, you know what the first thing he says is, you voted for it. Why are you complaining? It's because I think he doesn't, he's being flippant about it, of course, but he's not wrong. I don't care that women have the right. I want women to have the right to vote. I want everybody to have the right to vote. I think there needs to be skin in the game. Women don't have that. You want to know why? If should have a lesser vote or should not be qualified to vote, it's because they haven't signed up for selective services. They're not taking the same risks that voters would have to do, like male voters would have to do. Oh, what are you talking about? Well, if you are a man, and by the way, they're making it mandatory right now. You're automatically, once you hit your 18th birthday, they've passed this already. Once you hit your 18th birthday, you're already enrolled in selective services, because they don't have to track you down. They don't have the resources to prosecute and take all these kids at 18 down. So they if you have a social security card and you are 18 years old, and I don't care if you identify as male or female or fucking something in between, a demi boy. I don't care what the fuck you are. If you have a penis hanging between your legs, you are signed up for selective services. And you know what? If you have a vagina between your legs, you're not. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be some accountability. Men, if this is the case, if men are going to, if men, human males with penises between their legs, are expected to go and lay down their lives on the off-channel occasion that perhaps we're going to have mandatory conscription and there's going to be a draft or whatever, and women are not, guess what? Your vote should count less than for a man. So I'm not saying you shouldn't vote. I'm just saying a man should have the vote that you do if he is signed up and is expected to die for his country, and you are not, simply because you were born with a vagina instead of a penis. Women need to be held accountable for their decisions, and they need to have skin in the game. Voting right now, people don't understand that voting was there's a much different attitude about voting back in the day. Like back when, let's see, Seneca Falls was 1849. That's when I usually sort of mark feminism as sort of the inception of it. The Seneca Falls Convention in 1849, when there was the Articles of Grievance or whatever it was. And then, of course, then there's 1920, August of 1920. In fact, it might have even been August 18th. But this might be the anniversary of it. But it was in August of 1920 when the 19th Amendment was ratified. And by the way, it was ratified by one vote because I think he was a senator I think he was a senator from Tennessee. He was a young kid, and his mom sent him a handwritten note. His mom was he was going to vote no, and they weren't going to get the vote until his mom said, "Be a good boy and vote for votes for women," or some shit like that. And he changed his vote, and that's how it got changed. I think it might even be today. I think it might be August 18th, 1920. Find out when the 19th Amendment was ratified. It might be the anniversary of that. So August 18th. I'm that fucking good, bitch. I am that fucking good. Yes, August 18th, 1920. I forget the senator's name, but there's the story goes is that his mom sent him a letter that convinced him to, because he was a chump, right? Oh, I'll do what mommy says. Right. Yes, the fate of women's vote was in the hands of one beta male. Oh, so anyways, again, my take on sort of like repeal and anything is it's never going to happen. It's stupid. Do I think women are useless society? No, I think that we're complements to each other. Would I disagree with Myron about that? Yeah, but he says that for a fact, that shit for a fact. Do men offer more to society than women do? Depends on what the context is. We're bigger, we're stronger, we're faster, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we can run down the physical aspects of things, sure. But that's not to say that women don't contribute to society. They do contribute to society. What I want them to be held accountable for their decisions. If you're going to vote, if you're going to insist on voting, then guess what? You're also going to be held accountable for those things. So you get what you fucking vote for. The problem is right now is because of the quote unquote women are wonderful effect. We're more likely to give them a pass on things, and because men think they're going to get in there, they think we're going to reproduce with these chicks. If we give them a pass on these things, we don't hold them accountable, then they'll want to fuck us, which is completely untrue. But but the thing is like when I see, for instance, when I see, who was it saying this? There's a book, and I forget the name of the book, but it's this woman who did this expose on the nightlife culture of Los Angeles, New York, and I think Vegas too, maybe Miami as well. But she was talking about how these poor girls have to go and like all the things they have to do to look good and sacrifice all this and that and everything. And that if they're fat, they don't get in the club for free. And that's a fucking fact of life in Vegas, man. If you go to Zouk, man, if you're a fat chick, you're paying full price to get in fucking Zouk. If you're a smoking hot bitch, you're getting in for free. And they're like, oh, it's so biased. It's based on this beauty standard, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, meanwhile, all the guys in the line to get past the velvet fucking rope, they're paying full price. They're paying for a table. They're paying for bottle service. They're paying for the salaries for the atmosphere models. And you think about how much money it would take, like how much money changes hands for each guy that goes past the velvet rope per the hot girl that goes in there. You know what? You're goddamn right. I hope there's some hot chicks in there, because those are the ones that drag in the guys who drag in the money, right? It's not some horrible patriarchal thing. I mean, maybe it is in some ways, but guys don't want to go there and go, oh man, I'm never coming back to Zouk because it's just nothing but chicks everywhere. That's not what they're paying for. They're paying for hot chicks to be there. And you know what? They keep coming back as a result of that. That seems horribly, horribly unfair, right? Oh, yeah, unless you happen to be the guy paying that. So but what I'm saying is there's a separate standard of justice for men and women, and there's also separate standards of like when it comes to double standards, right? Whenever we say the word double standard, we think women, right? Oh, well, how come this is a double standard? This is the only double standard that exists in girl world, by the way. It's well, if a guy has sex with a bunch of girls, he's a superhero, he's a stud. But if a girl has sex with a bunch of guys, she's a slut. How horrible, right? Well, okay, that's a double standard. You're right. It is a double standard. So what? Deal with it. It's welcome to planet fucking Earth. But you know what else is a double standard? But like I can name dozens and dozens and dozens of other double standards that only work only work for women and work against men. If you're a hot piece of ass, you get past the velvet rope. If you're a guy, you pay full price. That's horrible. What a double standard. What if I'm just as good looking a guy as this girl is? How come I don't get in for free? Because you have a dick. That's why. How come I get signed up for selective services immediately because I have a penis and you have a vagina? That seems like a really bad double standard, because I could die as a result of this and you're going to live. And why? Because we want to protect women. It's because it's the innate protector dynamic. Women are the incubators of the next generation. That's why we put them. That's why we allow them to get a free pass. That's why we allow them to sort of like give them fail safes. Like we look at, like, say for an example, like abortion, for example, that's a fail safe. You made a bad reproductive decision. Don't worry, girl. We have legal safe abortion here. And so you can go out and you can flush the kid and you can get on with your life and you can live a better life. And if you're not ready for a child now, it's okay. We have these services and we can get rid of the child for you. And then you can go back about your business, right? Well, why would a woman want to get a divorce or an abortion? She made a bad reproductive decision, barring she made a bad reproductive decision. And now she wants to get out. That's a failsafe. That's all abortion is for women, is a failsafe. And anybody who wants to challenge me on that and say, well, what if the baby's life? Okay, those reasons are a fraction of 1%. 97.8% of abortions performed in the United States are elective. So drawing from that pool of candidates, it's most definitely a failsafe. Failsafe against bad reproductive choices.